Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll. Lee Cole. Oh, no, I do the drum roll before Gloria.
Too funny. How's everybody doing today?
I'm just the webinar jockey. I'm just some guy Gloria met. I was sleeping under a bridge in Waco, Texas, and she felt sorry for me. I'm pretty sure or maybe I think it would be better Las Vegas. I wouldn't
Yeah, there
probably
you go.
mind.
Yeah.
I mean, except for the summertime. Summertimes are brutal, but the rest of the year, I think being homeless in Las Vegas I might survive.
Um, yeah, that's why there are a lot of them there. So, yeah, it would make
Oh,
sense.
joys. Okay, so banter aside, I hope everybody's doing well. You should be able to hear me acting stupid, and you should be able to see Gloria's screen. So if somebody could give me a thumbs up on both those things, that would be cool. Gloria, we had a phenomenal training yesterday. Just
Yeah,
phenomenal.
thank you.
Guys,
Hope everybody got value out of it. Yeah.
it's in the members area. The link to Gloria had done some stuff on ChatGPT. That's in the members area. How about it, Kenneth? How are you? And yeah, so without further ado, let's have at it.
Yes. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and do a deep dive on the offer, and then we're going to go into the actual automation and then talk about a couple of components of the automation. I'll go over the user guide for just a little bit, and then the big thing is the prompts inside of the inside of not chat GPT, but inside of the AI content rocket, because we're posting to a couple different platforms. And so the prompts have to be geared towards each platform, and it has to be geared towards um, your audience, and it has to be geared towards your offer as well. So it's got to kind of do a couple of those things. So we'll do that a little bit later once we kind of get to the offer. And what I thought we would do, since day 3 is really all about if you wanted to sell this as a service, let's talk about and create an offer for that service. Okay, for like you guys will set this up for somebody else, and they pay you per month for it or something. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And what I wanted to do was do a little bit of a deep dive and talk about what an offer is. Okay, and do you guys, can any of you guys like explain what your idea or understanding, or how you think what an offer is? Could I kind of get just a couple just to start the discussion? There's like no right or wrong answers. Nobody's gonna, chastise you or anything, but just kind of I want to get a feel for what your belief of an offer is, because this is a little bit nuanced, right? We're going to kind of go a little bit deep. This is I think this is real, kind of the stuff that sometimes, like for me, it took me a while to get. Okay. And then once I got it and really understood it, then miraculously my offers started converting a lot better. Okay. So that's kind of in the spirit that I wanted to do this for you all. So do we have anybody that, like, what is your, Lee, can you just kind of like, what are
Yeah,
some beliefs or
absolutely.
thought
We,
processes of what an offer is?
well, Art says, Art sells an art. I'm just kind of remembering from yesterday. Art sells a couple of different things.
Mm-hmm.
One of which is a newsletter service, and it says
Mm-hmm.
we will write a newsletter for you at no cost for the first 4 issues.
Okay. Okay.
So kind of a freebie lead up type thing.
Okay. Yep. 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 Yep.
So somebody else give us, and again, there's no right or wrong. Just pop a couple
Mm-hmm.
of words in there. Okay, Yvonne, very cool. I offer paid ads. Yvonne, I'm guessing that's a paid ad service, which, by the way, guys, is a great thing to do. Paid ads are really hard to learn.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
quite a skill.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's a very valuable skill. Okay, great.
Mhm.
What's the difference between an offer and a product or a service? Let's just ask that question. Now, this is where the nuancing comes across, because Art offers newsletter services, and then he has an offer for those newsletter services that are like four for free or something like that, right? So what's the difference
So you want the difference between what, two things?
between the product or service that you're offering and the offer itself, I guess, is the best way to
Oh,
put it.
very sweet. Yeah. So
This is where it gets deep.
between, yeah, no, I got it. I don't think you and I have actually talked about this recently.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I got you.
Mhm.
But so David offers Google Business Profile services. So the difference between what you're offering and the offer itself.
Yeah, your product or
Very cool.
service and the offer itself, because this is really a little bit nuanced, and we're kind of digging a little bit deep. So
Yvonne says, I think the offer is, Yvonne says, I think the offer is letting someone know about your business, and a word got cut off there, but I think we got the gist of that.
Yep. So
What's your take on this?
how I look at it is, the service, the product or service that you're offering is what you're selling. The offer is what they're buying, is kind of how I look at it. Does that make sense?
It does to me.
All right. Lee, do you agree or disagree? Or do you have any additional nuance to that?
Say it
Or
again.
what are your thoughts on that?
No, that part I got. I mean, say the difference between the two again.
Yeah. So the difference between the two, and this is just according to Gloria. Okay, this is kind of how what my belief is. The product or service that you are offering is what you're selling. Okay, the offer itself is what they're buying. That's kind of how I look at it.
Now, I mean, I don't want to steal your thunder, but is this what I usually talk about at this time?
You can, yeah. Let's both talk about it, because this.
No,
I'm
I'm not saying can I talk. I mean, you know, when it comes to from the seller's point of view and the buyer's point of view,
that's exactly
is that where we are?
That's kind of where I'm getting to, because you notice where Art said, he does newsletter services, but his newsletter services is different than you're going to get 4 of them for free, right? Or what the offer
It's
was.
also
Mhm.
okay. So Art's got newsletter, guys. We're going to hang here a little bit. We're not going to just bore you to death, but this is like what Gloria's talking about is like super incredibly important.
Mhm.
I mean, if you get this, I mean, you need to understand the other stuff, but this is going to put you in a whole new ballgame.
Yes.
So Art is offering a newsletter service, and we're going to give away 4 issues. Yvonne is offering paid ads, and I don't know if she has any specific little deal, about that. David's offering Google Business Profile. And David says, my offer is add an additional 5-10K per month in revenue to your business. Okay. David's really closer to, I think, what you're talking about, Gloria, than anybody I've mentioned so far.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he can prove the 5 to 10K a month, which, if you've had a few clients, would be pretty easy to prove. Yvonne's got paid ads, and my offer is paid ads, and I think Yvonne, it says I receive a free video. Maybe Yvonne uses a video as a giveaway or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so hang on, we got more. Patricia,
Okay.
how are you? I sell mugs and t-shirts. Patricia, this is so central, what Gloria's talking about, that you could sell Boeing airplanes, cocaine, or mugs and t-shirts. I'm not suggesting you go
Or
out and stand on a
anything,
street corner. So,
anything in between, right? Anything in
I mean,
between.
because this has to do with the fact that if you're going to sell something, this sounds so simplistic that you're going to think, well, Lee, why are you telling me this? This is obvious because nobody thinks about this. If you lived on a desert island all by yourself, never had anybody visit, it's just you, and let's say you got some, you know how to fish and all that stuff. So you're going to live, okay. But you live on a desert island all by yourself. You can never sell anything. It would be absolutely impossible for you to sell anything. It would be you would never even dream of selling anything. It wouldn't do anything for you. Why? Because to sell something, you don't need one, you need two human beings, a buyer and a seller, because a sale is an exchange of two things between two people. Usually we think of it as the good or service going one way and the payment going the other way, although it doesn't have to be. So
Hmm.
the point is, those two people look at things sometimes through really wildly different points of view.
Yes,
The,
that's
each
like,
one
yeah.
of them is, you look, you just want a sale. Look, just show me the money. I just want some damn money. I got some bills to pay, right? Later on, I'm trying to build a business.
Hmm.
It's pretty simple from the seller's point of view. The buyer, though, I think we're getting it. Glory, correct me if I'm, and tell me to shut up anytime you want to. My wife does. But anyway, and has for over 40 years, although it's apparently, has no effect on me. Um, Patricia, why do people buy your mugs and your t-shirts? Yvonne, not why would somebody hire you to do their paid ads, but why would somebody want paid ads in the first place? What are they trying to do? David, so what? Who gives a, flying, what about Google business profile? Why, what does a business want to get out of that? Art, newsletters are fabulous, but who needs them? Why would you want one? What, all that stuff.
Hmm. Yes, yes. So that's kind of what we're trying to get into is the mind of the buyer a little bit, right? And they are looking at it from a completely different perspective because we just want to sell our thing. I just want
Right.
them to buy my thing. Um, but they're looking at it from a completely different point of view. What am I going to get from your thing? How does your thing help me? And normally it goes a little bit deeper because
Uh-huh.
they have to be in some type of pain typically, right?
Uh-huh.
The reason why is because people don't, it's a hassle for us to do anything out of the ordinary, right? To get out of our routine, and stuff like that, and to change and to make a change in our business, to, try to do things. So typically the greatest motivator is going to be some type of pain, whether it be financial pain, business pain, fear of loss, or something like that.
Hmm.
And so when we go to our social media posting content rocket and we just repeatedly, I offer blah, blah, blah services, I blah, 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 blah. That's where like it gets ignored, right? Because you're talking about you. You're not really talking about them,
Amen.
their pain, their motivations, their desires from their perspective, right? And so,
Mhm.
really, what you want to do, and that's why I say the offer, like it has to be something that speaks to them, not, these. The word offer is almost like a misnomer, right? Because we're thinking like these are the services that I offer, these are the services I provide to you. And so, so a lot of times we kind of, that's what we spout off in our, in our communications to try to generate leads. And they don't care about that. They care about what's going on with them, their business, their pain and that type of stuff. So what we need to be able to do is we need to be able to translate what service we provide. Okay, I'm not going to say offer, the service we provide in a way that is focused on them, their pain, their motivations, which is the reasons why they would actually reach out to you. All right, so that's kind of the offer, and it's a little bit easier said than done, but ChatGPT can help a great deal with that. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll go into ChatGPT, and we'll get an offer that is kind of fit for the social media posting and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to tell it my story. I'm going to say, so I want to take a step back and suppose I offer social media marketing services, specifically automated using one of my make.com automations. I need to let me see, unpack these this potential. Need to come up with an offer that is an easy transition from the social media content posting. So a straight line content to, so we're going to go straight line to content to traffic to conversions. I'm just going to say not sure where, how to start looking at this. Can you assist? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to ask it another question, and then we'll get the scratch paper out and stuff like that. So, okay, great. This is great. So help me. See, and this is what, okay, yep. Services, what you provide, offer, how you position it in a way that makes people say, I need it now. So they're kind of saying the same thing. It's from their point of view, it's what they buy, so all of the above is right. So your services are the mechanics, all right? So that's kind of what we provide, what we do, but it's kind of like how we position it and what they're buying is how you package and sell it, you know, or how you package and how they buy it, basically. So yeah, so that's it. So let me get a piece of scratch paper out. Actually, I'm going to do this so that it's on the same scratch paper. Let's do this. Let me go ahead and do this. So that way we don't have to kind of mess with, okay. So let me just pull this over here and we'll go days 1 through 3. Okay. All right, and we're gonna do, this is day 1. A little bit of daylight between them. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do day 2, day 2. Okay, and now what we wanna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop all this in here.
So this
And
is
then,
going to be the same document that I linked to from the members area yesterday, correct?
yep. That way
So
we don't
guys, you
have
got the
to,
same thing. So don't look for the link in under day 2. Go back up to day 1 and you will see the extended document.
yeah, it's gonna say Content Rocket Masterclass days 1 through 3 scratch paper. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of, so let me go ahead and I'm just going to highlight this. I'll make it a little bit bigger too. Okay, so this is day 2. All right, so what exactly are you offering at different tiers? And then basically it's saying what makes people say yes immediately. All right, so that's kind of where I want to kind of focus is right here. So you cannot have an offer without being able to define what it is that you sell. You know, like preferably packages. I like to productize everything unless you're doing like a custom work, you know, and then if you're doing custom work, like it's 100% custom, then it's a completely different process. Then, you know, what you're selling is, you know, kind of custom, right? So it's the aspect of it being custom that they get one of a kind, nobody has it, that type of thing. But, you know, just for what we sell, we might tweak things that we sell, the services, you know, like for example, Yvonne, she does ads. She's going to tweak the ads for every client. We're going to tweak the content for every client. David's going to tweak the profiles and the content that goes on there for every client. Art's going to tweak the newsletters for every client. So that's tweaking, but he's not having to recreate the wheel. They're not having to recreate the wheel each and every time, all right? It's probably like a very similar package. We'll do, you know, head to toe Google profile scrubbing, and then we'll do XYZ, you know, that type of thing. All right, so we have to define the package. All right, and so in order to do that, we can go ahead and we can just answer these questions to kind of come up and productize it. And if you are struggling with this and you can just say, you know, I need to define a package, ask me any questions. You can ask ChatGPT and it'll do some questions like this. All right, so let's just say that I'm going to go ahead and yeah, I was gonna, well, let's just do it today. I was gonna save this for tomorrow, but we'll have more time for tomorrow for something else because I was just gonna come up with a package, but it's gonna be Insta, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. Okay, it is, Okay, how much are you generating? Are you generating? All right, so it's going to be it's everything. Yep. Okay, just posting, we'll say for now. Okay, are you targeting? So let's just go ahead and go with some local businesses and let's just say, yes, we are targeting home services local. Okay, what's the biggest pain point? So do they already understand the need for social media? So I'm going to go ahead and do mhm. Okay, spend on marketing, social media. I'm just going to give it a range here. I'm going to say anywhere from, we'll say $2.99 to yes. Okay. Do you want to offer paid ad services? Not at this time. A lead generation service, not at this time. We'll just say just getting started. Would you upsell, see above? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and drop this back in. Okay, this is helpful. This is helpful. Okay, see what it does with it. Okay, so this is actually doing quite a bit. So now we're kind of defining the packages and the value proposition. which is, based on the information that I gave it back, yours might look differently. But this is not bad. Get found, get booked, get paid, up to 10 posts per day, AI driven, but brand aligned, fully automated. Social media footprint, your brand dominates, more content, more reach. This is actually not bad, quite frankly. So it's given us a couple of different packages. So it's $2.99 per month, $4.99 per month. You got the basic visibility, the domination, and then the market leader bundle. These are not really bad, actually. And now here's the offer. Okay, it's the irresistible hook to get clients in. We automate your social media so you get more calls without lifting a finger. And then it gives you the pain. Are you tired of hiring agencies that charge a fortune and still don't post consistently? Do you know your competitors are getting more visibility? Are you missing out on jobs? Our AI-powered solution posts up to 10 times per day. So it's going for a full kind of blanket scenario, I guess I would say. All right, so now we've kind of have an offer, and what you want to do is what we need to do is we need to put ourselves in our prospective clients' point of view, right? I call it channeling the client. Now what we want to do is want to kind of channel them, and we want to say, if they saw this, how would it land with them? Okay, because it's all about them. It's not about you or me, it's about them. So we need to kind of say, and that's why I always say, when you're deciding to work with some clients, typically the lower hanging fruit or an audience is going to be an audience that you might have some familiarity with. Okay, you might have worked with them before in some form or fashion, or you kind of know how they operate, right? That type of thing. You're familiar with, a little bit about how their business runs and different things like that. It's important to understand like where they're coming from. So when you're designing this now, you can say it hits the mark or it doesn't hit the mark. Okay. Is this enough pain, and is this enough of a headline that it's going to kind of move somebody to do a double take on you and get enough of them to go ahead and say, I wonder what all this is about. Okay, so that's kind of what we want to do. So let's look at the rest of it. So now we wanted like a straight line from content to traffic. So you're offering, so it says you're offering social content automation. So what's the natural upsell? Phase one, so it's actually giving us, start with content visibility and then move on to phase two, which is, what is it? Okay, so it's once you built traction, the easiest upsell. So it's Google Business, chat bots, different things that you can upsell. The easy yes offer, so it's saying try it free for 7 days, see your social media transform overnight. Yeah, so a couple of things. So let's just say, so we've got, I want you to see, so the package is different, right? This is the package, is, your key value proposition, high frequency automated social posting. That's actually not a bad little thing. But to me, this offer is a little bit weak. I don't know. What do you think, Lee?
Sorry, I was answering,
Oh,
talking
yeah,
to a few people.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so now this is the back and forth that we have to do with ChatGPT. Okay, so I'm going to tell it exactly that I love the packages and the value proposition, but I kind of feel this is a little weak. All
Mm-hmm.
right, so if you highlight it and you go up here, it knows that you're talking just about that piece of it, so it's a little bit of a shortcut. I don't know if you guys have used that before. So I'm going to say, I love the packaging but I think this offer is a bit weak. Like, not convinced it would move someone to click through if you know. Just thinking. Okay. I like it a lot better. I can tell you that. What do you think, Lee?
Hang on, Lee's looking for the mute button. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And Art says it could show a bit more strength, like need to show or offer some proof or guarantee.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of part of the yes, 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 yes. It definitely, and they're saying making the offer an easy yes. You and ChatGPT were thinking along the same lines, because
Uh-huh.
here's the guarantee: if you don't see more calls, it's free. Get 30 days of content in 24 hours. So that's actually good. Beat your competitors or pay nothing. You don't want to offer a guarantee that you have no control over, right? Because you can't say get more sales or it's free, because you don't know if they're crappy salespeople or
Right.
not, right? So that's like an unknown variable. But if it's something that you can do, like get all your content or whatever, everything is in your control and you have control over it, then you want to do a guarantee about that.
So of those three, I think you like the middle one the best.
Yeah, I would probably
I do
tweak it.
too.
30 days of content within 24 hours. That's actually not a bad one. You can make it within 48 hours or something like
Hmm.
that to make it. Okay, so now we've got kind of some
Or you
stuff.
could say just something like solve your social media content problems.
Yes, 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 exactly. So, and now we've got like urgency and scarcity, limited spots. All right, so let's just say that this is actually not bad. And the only way that we would know if it would work or not is our knowledge of our target audience, our prospective audience. And sometimes you have to put yourself in their shoes and say, if I was an HVAC or plumber. I had all this competition, everybody's, trying to get what is it, the 5 spot or the 3 spot or, whatever high placement on, on Google, right? And would this resonate with them? Right. So you kind of have to ask that. Maybe to me, it would be, my instinct would be that I'd almost want to say, like, you're missing the boat type of message, right? Because one could argue that like AI SEO is a big thing. And it's all of that EEAT stuff. And part of the EEAT is the trust factor. And all this social media stuff kind of, adds to those trust scores and stuff like that. So to me, it might be more about, not necessarily that it's your competitors I think your competitors will hate you is fine, but it might be more like, your competitors are, like, so, what is it, instead of 2024, it's like your competitors are so like 2020, you're in the year
Uh,
2020, right? You're kind of like you're missing the boat type of thing. But if you're not sure, the only thing to do is to test it and then see. And what's going to happen when you test it is you're going to have to kind of look and see, okay, is this message coming across or is it getting completely ignored? And if it is getting ignored, then you're going to have to refine your offer a little bit. So now what I want to do is let's just accept this as okay, we like it, and yeah, okay, we like all this. So I'm just going to say, okay, let's go with this. To, kind of figure how to, kind of present this without, every post just blasting the offer. So really, like, I need to have the post be compelling to want to click. Then when they click, they see this offer. So I need to sell the click. Maybe it's the pre-offer. All right. Okay, see, this is, and this is really important too, because you don't want your social media posts. So even though we're going through all of this trouble to kind of create this offer, and it's like, oh, we're not even going to like blast out this offer. Like, why did we go through all of this trouble when we're not going to really be blasting out this, like the social media posts are not going to include this, right? So what we have to do is we have to kind of set this up. Okay, and so now he's given us some examples. So it says, you nailed it. You just don't want to blast the offer because people will tune you out. So you need to sell the click first. So what we want to do is create curiosity, urgency, or, FOMO, which is correct, and then get them to where we're trying to get them all hot and bothered. So when they do click, they're going to see the offer at that point. Lee, do you want to add something to it? And let's answer any questions that we may have. Because you're the master at this, quite frankly.
No, I mean, it makes total sense. But just to point out, the curiosity, the urgency, especially the fear of missing out, I mean, that's really getting to the crux of why people buy stuff and why people do stuff,
Yes,
right?
yes, 100%.
And I love the way it said, sell the click first. At
Yes.
every step of the game, there's a sale to be made. There are often several, not a bunch, but there are often several sales to be made before the sale. Like, will you click on this piece of content? If you're using that to, do list building, or your list building is part of it, will you give me your email, right? Will
Yes.
you fill out a thing for a 10-minute get to know you phone call on Calendly? Will you open my stupid emails? That's a sale, right?
That's
So
right. Yep.
every one of these are like stepping stones across the river.
They're like mini
You know,
sales. You have to kind of make mini
they
sales.
absolutely are mini sales, because all of those require a value for value exchange.
Yes.
See, like curiosity. I click on the thing because I'm curious. Okay, so what did you get out? What do you, the seller, get out of it? Well, you get a prospect taking the next step. That was the value you got. What did they get out of it? They're satisfying that curiosity, right? They're, well, what's this about? This is kind of interesting. Click, oh, I see what this is about. Now, if you lose them, that's okay. But if you don't lose them, then maybe they'll do the next thing. Fear of missing out, get this thing before whatever, right? I think some of those previous things were really talking about competitiveness and fear.
Yeah.
Fear your competitors are going to, eat your lunch, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, don't miss out. Don't miss out on what? What does he not want me to miss out on? He or she, right? Well, then click here and you'll find out. But again, that's a value for value exchange, right?
Yes, yes,
You, the
exactly.
seller of this stuff, push someone, another stepping stone across the river, but that person said, starts to learn, what am I missing out on? I didn't
Yes.
even know to be scared. I mean, a lot of people don't even know to be scared. They're just vaguely scared. Scared of what? What is he talking about? What am I going to miss out on? Click. Oh, I'm going to miss out on social media content posting, which frankly most businesses do an extremely poor job of. That's why it's such a wonderful thing to sell. So now, and then, so on and so forth until you get to the first sale.
Hmm.
Then of course, we'll hit this a little later on, or if we don't get to it, then this next concept is in every single course we've ever created, the upsell, right?
Hmm. That's right. Yep. Yep, exactly. That's exactly right. What questions do you guys have?
Well, so far, we've got no questions so far. I've had a number of little back end housekeeping things, but nothing specifically about this.
Is it making sense?
How about it, guys? Let us know because this is
This is what's going to set apart traffic from conversions, traffic and conversions and
this is
getting your,
like if you have a bow and arrow and you're going to shoot a target, and then for some stupid reason you turn 90 degrees to the left and shoot the arrow, besides the fact you might kill somebody, you're not going to hit the target. Okay, so I mean, this is that central.
Mhm.
Art says keep going. Art's happy.
Okay, good deal. All right. So what I want you guys to see and what's really important is that there's this process that has to happen in the mind of the buyer, right? And that we have to be able to, um, how do I put it? We have to be able to convey that, I guess is the best way to put it, in our content whenever we're targeting them. All right. So, and there's these many steps. And as you can see, we started with what we have to sell and then converted it into an offer. But what does that offer have to do with anything? Because we're not just going to be blasting that out, right? The offer is almost like the end game. It's what it's kind of like what they buy, what we want to sell to them. All right. And so in order to get them to that offer, there's a couple steps along the way. So we've got the role of what he calls the pre-offer content. So let's kind of look at this. All right. So types of pre-offer content that gets clicks. So we've got, these aren't ads, they're compelling posts that make people curious enough to click. So you've got like your competitor is beating you post. Your competitor just hijacked the #1 reason customers call you. If they're posting 5 to 10 times a day and you're barely posting, guess what? So yeah, so we've got an invisibility problem. So it kind of gives you some samples of this type of content. Okay, so now we have all of that. So now what we need to do is actually we've got our offer, and then we have kind of some sample content pieces. So we're good for right now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and on day 2, this is we'll go ahead and put this here. Okay, so this is the chat for this. Okay, so now what we need to do, now that we kind of have an offer and understand, the path that they go on, that our prospect goes on, now we need to make sure that our social profiles are ready. Okay, remember, we're going to be doing this because we want to get eyeballs to our target audience and we want them to see our posts, and then we want our posts, it's selling, it's pre-selling, it's selling the click, our post to sell the click. Okay, so we need, and if you don't want to like do any of these, then you can just like delete it or disconnect it from the automation. You don't have to do all of them, but let's just say for argument's sake that, yeah, you might as well just get exposure, 100%. So with that being the case, all of these need to be singing from the same hymn sheet. They need to kind of have a similar branding, similar, profile, bio type of message and stuff like that. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, once you have in your head and you have a clear idea of, kind of the things that we're doing with this offer and stuff like that, let's just kind of keep that. Now we want to go ahead and create our social profiles. All right, so I am just going to, in the exact same chat, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say something like, okay, this is great. And I will have an in bio link to the offer. We'll just say we'll have it to the offer. Given that profiles to, let's just say, make sense. When one of my targets sees a post, want to then check out my profile, it needs to speak to them, okay, and resonate. Yeah, this is great. It's kind of laying it out. I have to say, and Lee and I were just talking about this the other day of ChatGPT, we used to have to take hours to get this quality of content out of it, back when it first started and just go back and forth and it wasn't nailing it and stuff. And, it kind of now remembers between conversations that you have with it. And so it kind of learns with all the conversations. And man, this is some good stuff that it's spitting out. I mean, you don't have to wrestle with it as much as you used to.
Yeah, it seemed like sometime between 3 months ago and 6 months ago,
Hmm.
it was so
Hmm.
across some kind of frontier to where you didn't have to hold its hand as much. You could give it bigger bites, but also just the quality of the ideas was so much better. I was doing some other stuff and I put this ginormous thing into it, just lots of data. And it just pulled out some insights and I'm pretty good at what I do. It pulled out some insights and I thought, huh, I never
Hmm.
even noticed that. That's insane. And that's
Yeah.
really hit the nail on the head. And I was missing it on my own. It's shocking.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It really, it has had all these couple of years to have all of this, kind of data and everything that the world is inputting into it. So it's pretty much giving you a really good, so it has the framework laid out and says they need to instantly understand what you do. They see why it matters and they have a clear, easy path to take action. So, and it lays out what it achieves it with, and then it breaks down and says this is, your Instagram and your X bios here, Facebook and LinkedIn, which, yeah, the link in bio strategy. So yeah, this is a little bit, yeah. So what we want to do is we want to break out, okay, so this is a good start. All right. So now it should go ahead and it'll give us each of these. I'm just kind of showing you that this is kind of how easy it is, right? That so it's kind of given a breakdown of the profiles. All right. And as soon as it gets done, I'll go ahead and I don't know. I'm not quite sure when sharing, if I share the link, if it shares everything after I've shared the link or if we have to generate a new link. So I'm going to generate a new link and then we're going to kind of get into the geeky stuff here.
So this is the link I put in the members area. You can give me another one.
Oh, no, it's just going to be in the document, you know.
Got it.
And
Okay,
yeah,
cool. Oh,
yep.
I
So
understand now. Okay. So guys, this is, if you look on the document available through the members area, you open that up, you look at the top of that document, that link. That's what you said.
yeah, so well, I have a day 2. This is ChatGPT. I'm just going to go like, this is the offer stuff.
Okay, cool.
And then this is going to be the social profile stuff. It might be the same link. If it is, you don't have to worry about it. But for some reason, I think that when I shared stuff like with my VAs and everything, it only shares it up to the point that, you know, of the conversation, the conversation we've had up to that point, I believe. So just in case, I just want to go ahead and what in the heck is going on here? Oh, here we go. Got stuck. Okay. Okay, so now it's doing LinkedIn. Yeah, I would probably redo this, and all of these icons are just too much for, especially for LinkedIn. So I would probably have them redo it, but you guys can do, kind of work on that. So, okay, good. This is good. So, okay, this is good. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to, oh, here we go. Update link. Ah, I see. Okay. Might need to, just going to do this. Updated link. I think it's the same thing. Okay. All right. So does this make sense, guys, before we move on? Because now we got to get to the technical stuff of the, kind of how we get to that point from the offer to this straight line, like where we've got the content, then the content has to sell them enough to click. And then when they click, then they see the offer. Is that pretty good for you guys?
I think we're doing okay.
All
Yeah, I mean,
right.
just looking at the comments. But again, folks, we got Q&A at the end, and we'll see you tomorrow. So if you missed something,
Mhm.
you have more than one chance.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, I'm just gonna move this back over so that we have everything. Okay. Okay, so all right, so now what you're gonna want to do is to go ahead and figure out who your audience is. This is kind of like the action items and next steps we should have done for yesterday. Figure out who your audience is, figure out what it is that you want to sell to them, and then have ChatGPT work on your offer. Okay, and then you'll probably want to work on your social profiles as well. Okay, and then with that, we're going to kind of begin with today's stuff. All right, so we talked about the setting up and creating a unified social footprint, and we've done that for you as a demonstration. And then what I wanted to go ahead and do for the rest of the time we have is to kind of, we'll go over the user guide and how the automation, kind of how you do things and set things up in the automation, how it's designed, pretty easy setup. And then the big thing is we need to kind of work in the offer, the pre-selling of the click, the social media profile. We need to have the prompts, so the prompts will go ahead and spit that type of content out. All right. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. Is that making sense?
I think we're good.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up Make, and then what I'm going to do is here's the user guide. Okay, so there is that. And then I think that is, and let me pull these prompts over because we're going to be spending the rest of the time here. Okay. All right. So for this, okay, what I want to do is kind of show you how easy it is to load the scenario up. Now, this is a free make.com account. And what we want to do is you're just going to go ahead, and once you're going to have to sign up for make.com. You can just go ahead and get the free forever plan. That's totally fine. And then like in the user guide, it has everything, like sign up for all of these accounts. It tells you what to sign up for. And then we have a table here to put in your API and your API keys and stuff. So you can just pull them from this user guide. Okay, and you can see this is like 30 some pages, and then it goes in exactly how to import everything, like literally every button you have to click. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of show you that really quickly. So we're going to go down here, and if you follow the user guide, it's going to have this in there. So we'll go ahead and I'm just going to do this so that we have it. Okay, there we go. So now we've got it. And then I did verify, just so you know, that the that RSS.app, once you sign up for it, then you can like charge it with credits and stuff. Okay, but you can also use a free Google RSS feed for like Google Alerts if you want to do that. So that's a way to do it. You don't have as much control over the content if you're doing Google Alerts. All right, so kind of keep that in mind. And then like we talked about yesterday, what happens is that you've got the prompts in here, and then the graphic, the ones that create the graphics in here. Okay, and that's really what you're going to want to spend your time on. So the user guide is going to walk you through literally step by step. So now we've imported it, and then it's going to tell you how to configure each and every module. So this is that first module, and it's going to go ahead and tell you exactly, like if you needed to create the alert. Okay, for those that want to use the RSS feed.app, we'll go ahead and we'll create like you know, how to configure RSS feed.app. We'll do that as well. We kind of are cognizant, you know, for pricing and stuff to kind of keep it as free as possible. But you can see that this literally goes like step by step. So you should be able to follow it and then be able to connect everything. All right. So everything is configured. Like if I click in here, let me go ahead and I'll just do this one. All right. Once you have, like I have my connection, my OpenAI, you know, kind of, I created the connection and have my license Make, you know, for other automations, and make.com recognizes that. I'll show you what happens and how to connect it, you know, for the first time. But what I wanted to show you is that everything is pretty much pre-configured in here for you. Okay, now what you're going to want to do is customize this prompt You can see it's for an AI tools expert, not, you know, social media expert or whatever. All right, so that's why I've got the prompts highlighted, and we'll go over the prompts, but I wanted to kind of show you that. So once you have it connected, when you hit save, all right, then that one's pretty much done. So if we were to go here and I wanted to add the account, I would click add. All right, and then I'm going to have to put in my API key and then my organization key. And then once I hit save, all right, and you can see here it says tip for first-time users. You must have credit in your OpenAI account. And then you can see where to do that. So you just can't get a free OpenAI. You can get a free OpenAI API key, but if you don't have any credits added to it, then you won't be able to use it. It just won't work. It'll error out. So make sure that you do that. Okay, so once I add my API key and stuff and everything in here, then it's going to look like, you know, what you saw earlier. Okay, so we have this, and then we've got, let me see where the prompts should be coming up here. Okay, and then we have the prompt. Everything is already programmed to pull the information. Do you see how this is kind of like expanding and contracting when I highlighted over these? It's pulling the data from here, and it's going to use it to create data, you know, for this string basically. But so once I'm done there, I'm going to hit save, and pretty much, you know, you just follow the user guide. Okay, so I wanted to go over that. But the important thing is it's called automation prompts, okay? And you've got any questions on that? Let's go ahead. Any questions on that kind of the technical stuff before we kind of move on to the prompts?
I think we're good so far, but I would like to mention, guys, that the end of next week, and I haven't put the link in the members area yet, we're going to have an open Zoom call. And the purpose of that call is if you get in here and you're trying to do this and you get confused and you wish that you could ask Gloria a question, that's what the call's for. So I would really encourage everybody to get in here and try to do this so that you run up against the, I mean, you know, if you follow the instructions, it's probably going to work beautifully. But if you run up against an obstacle, just something you can't figure out, whatever, get on the Zoom call, ask us. If you can't get on the Zoom call, everything that we do is at 3 o'clock Eastern time, webinars, Zoom calls, etc. If you can't get on the Zoom call, then use support and send me the question before the Zoom call. And the Zoom call will probably be Thursday or Friday of next week. We haven't scheduled it yet, but just want to remind everybody to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. All right, so this part is very important because what we just, you know, we spent an hour on like developing the offer and then the pre-click and, you know, all of that stuff. This is what generates the actual content. Okay, and so what we need to do is we need to create our prompts so that they're generating the type of content and then the type of imagery to support that content to, you know, kind of sell the click, if you will. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, all
If
right.
y'all have any questions, let me know.
All right, yeah. And so this may require getting a little bit creative with the RSS feed. Like we saw yesterday that the RSS.app, it'll create RSS feeds, you know, like based on like a specific website, right? So it doesn't have to be like a news feed or anything like that. You have to kind of get creative and ask ChatGPT to help figure out your content source, all right? And then what we need to do is take that content source and then turn it into posts that sell the click. The click is the traffic part, and then the offer is the conversion part. All right, so we've identified these just to kind of make it, let me see, how did we do this? Okay, yeah. You can see this is the first module summarizer. All right, so this is, we're calling it the first module. All right, and then this is the fourth module, and then this is the fifth module. Okay, so yeah, even though this is the second, if you count 1, 2, but yeah, this is the first ChatGPT. So you're going to see it says here first module, and then it's the fourth module, and that's all of these. And then this is the prompt in here, and this is the actual prompt that you can copy and paste. All right, and then this is the yeah, so you're going to have several of them. Okay, so this is the fourth module for the X post, which is up here. Okay, and then that prompt is a little bit different than the fourth module that is the write the LinkedIn one. Okay, so each of these prompts are a little bit different because they're tailored to each of these platforms. All right, so they're going to be different in their character count, in their tone, and all that type of stuff. And then we got the Facebook, the fourth for the Facebook, and the fourth for the Instagram. So you have to kind of read it. This says fourth for the LinkedIn post, and then we've got the prompt, we've got a screenshot of the prompt, and then we've got the actual prompt. This is fourth for the Facebook post, and then we have the screenshot, and then the actual prompt, and then the IG post. Okay. And then we've got the fifth module, which is the image creator. There's not one for LinkedIn. There's just one for X, and then for Facebook and Instagram. Okay, so it's the same thing. Fifth module, create the image for X. We've got the image of the prompt, and then the prompt itself, the image generator for Facebook, the prompt, all right, the image generator for Instagram. So you have all of that. All right, so what you're going to have to do is you're actually going to have to, that's why we went through all of that rigmarole with ChatGPT to figure out like the post and the click and the this and the that, because again, what we need to do is we need to make sure that when we're feeding the content in and it's creating the content, all right, here, that the content is going to sell the click, all right? So with that, what you're going to want to do, and I would probably keep it even in the same thread, all right, is you're going to want to go back to ChatGPT and you're going to just tell it, you know, we're going to switch gears. All right, this is great. I always try to, believe it or not, whenever you compliment it, it does more of it. You go, this is very helpful, this is great. Then it says, oh yeah, I'm doing, you know, I'm doing good. So it'll kind of keep doing it. So it is important to correct it kind of if it's not doing good, or, you know, kind of clarify what it is you want. So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and say, so this is great. That will, the content that will generate the click. Offer. So I am going to, oops, all right. So what I'm going to do I have an image of it already? No, okay, that's fine. Let's do this. Yeah, this is fine. I'll just do this. This is fine. Okay. I'm just gonna kind of, let me do some text here. So I'm gonna say, whoops, I'm gonna go, this is the first. And then Okay, so I'm just gonna, just so it knows from this image, and I'll show you guys what I'm doing. Okay. Let me do these four are called the fourth. Okay, and then I'm going to do these image. Okay, these. Okay, so what I'm doing is I went ahead and I created an image here. Okay, and then well, I just copied it. So this is known as the first module, this is the fourth, and then these are the fifth. All right, so I'm kind of giving it that information because that way it'll have context for the document. It can't read images in documents, believe it or not, but it can go ahead and it can read, you know, like text on an image and all that type of stuff. So I'm just going to kind of tell it the offer. I am dropping in an image of the automation Okay, so I'm going to say I also need a creative made this 100% app so we can create from any source. Provide ideas for source content to pull from also. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just download this. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it in here. Okay, and then did I do the image as well? Where'd the image go? I thought I dropped that image in. Maybe not. Oh, I didn't do it yet. Okay, so I'm going to go copy here. Okay, and then I'm also going to drop a pull from also. Okay. Okay, so now it has everything. All right. And we'll make sure that we have this in there too. I'll do another copy of the share this portion of it. Okay, so this tells me it kind of understands what we're talking about. All right, so it's refining the prompt strategy, revising the prompts for click-worthy posts. Okay, and it's giving us the prompts here. Okay, so yep. And that's really all there is to it. All right, so now once you have your automation done and then you have your prompts, this part is really, really important. And sometimes I will test things like 100 times You know, it's like, you know, do a prompt and then test it and do a prompt and test it, you know, just to see what it's going to be. You want to be confident that the content that it pushes out is of really high quality for you or your client. And this is how to do that, is it generates the prompt. But what you want to do is once you have everything built is you put the prompt in and then you just run it. And then you'll let it go ahead and, you know, and then let it generate the content. All right. So yeah, that's what you're going to want to do. When you, once everything gets done, all right, and you're ready, what I like to do, this is just another nerdy thing, is after I get everything configured one by one, is I'll go ahead and I'll run it. Okay, so this is the first thing I you know, did the alert. Then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll run it. I'll hit run once. All right, and then it'll go ahead and it'll run it. And then I do this one and then I click run once and it'll go ahead and it'll run it, and so on and so forth. All right, so that way you're configuring it along the way and you know that, okay, this works, it's fine, I don't need to worry about it anymore. Then you can just move on to the others. All right, so once you get these done, so by the time you get everything configured, if you do it and run it, and before moving on to the next, by the time you're done adding in all your account info, it should be completely, you know, running, no errors, all that type of stuff. Okay, then you can go ahead and post, you know, you have these new prompts in here, you put them in, you hit save, and then you run the entire thing, and you just see the type of content that it pulls out, you know. And so you're putting the content, you're looking at it, and then what you're going to do is, if you don't like it, then just delete it from your social posts. You know, it's brand new, nobody's really seen it anyway, you know what I'm saying? And you're going to kind of keep doing that. Now, if the post is good and it's spot on, then just go ahead and keep it. That's totally fine. But if it's not quite there, then actually what I would do is take a screenshot of the output, all right? And then you're going to go back to ChatGPT and then you're going to tell it, this prompt created this output. All right, so I need to kind of, then you're going to do a little bit more reverse engineering and it's going to help you tweak the prompt so that you get the output that you want. So you might have to do that and go back and forth. Okay, I did this and I got this. I did this prompt and got this output. It's not quite what I want. You may have to do it for a little bit. All right, just be prepared for that. Again, we're looking for the type of content that is going to drive traffic and conversions. In order to get that, there's going to be a little bit of, you know, you're going to have to spend just a little bit of time with ChatGPT and with testing and seeing what the output is until you get confident that, yeah, this is good, it's working. Okay, so that's kind of how you would do it. Any questions, guys, on any of this?
Well, speaking of conversions, we
Uh-huh.
do have a question. Adrian's asking, Adrian, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just trying to paraphrase here. Does, you know, so social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, X, can Adrian do this with, excuse me, can Adrian do this with one profile on LinkedIn, for instance, one profile on Facebook, or does Adrian need to create many Facebook profiles?
Oh, no, you only want to do one each, basically. So you're going to have your one X account, your one LinkedIn account, your one Facebook account, and your one Instagram account, right? And I think we worked the numbers out yesterday where,
Correct.
assuming like it was 100, you're only getting 100 views, you know, you need to post like several times a day or something. You only want to do it with just yours, okay? So, and if you were to do like with multiple profiles, that is a totally different strategy, because you'd want it as if it was a third person talking about your stuff. Okay, almost like it's an
Mhm.
avatar talking about your stuff.
Right.
Or, yeah. So yeah, just do the one. You'll stay out of the social media jail and all that type of stuff, which you don't want to get into. Okay.
There's that, and there's also a couple of other things. all of these platforms reward consistent posting, a lot of consistent posting. Let me just put it
Yes.
that way.
Yep.
I mean, every single one of these, and you'll have to play around with it to kind of get a feel for where that is.
Mm-hmm.
But every single one of these platforms, there's kind of a place where you feel like, I got the wind behind my back. This is taking off. I'm getting more and more views, more and more clicks. And that's because the algorithm is helping you, because the platform sees, here's a content creator that's creating stuff that my users want to see, and he or
Mm-hmm.
she is creating a bunch of it. So I'm going to, help them along. I'm going to boost them. So there's that issue. The other issue is the human issue. I mean, you do want, people check you out. People land on a piece of content. Well, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And then they're going to click on your profile and see who you are. Um, you really want people to start, it's branding. You really want people to start thinking of you as, a specific thing. And that'll help. That'll happen so much easier if you focus on one profile. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Focus on one product and service. Then, Adrian, it's according to where you are in your business. If you're just beginning, or you're beginning, you've got some traction, focus on one product slash service. And guys, hint, hint, you don't need but one. You need one product slash service, and you need one upsell. You can
Mm-hmm.
build an entire business. We're talking about a laptop lifestyle business, the kinds of businesses we talk about. You can build an entire business with a phenomenal mid six figure income just on those two things.
Yep.
I know this because I've done it a bunch, multiple times. David wants to know if Make supports Google GBP, Google Business Profile, Google.
It
I can't even say
does.
that. Yeah,
I'm almost,
does it
yeah.
support? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it does. Okay, Google, it's called, I guess they call it Google My Business, but I think that's
Yeah.
yep. So yeah, they do. So you can list posts, get a post, create a post,
Cool.
update a post, create update, review, reply. There's a lot of things that you can do, actually upload a media item. Yeah, there's a lot that you can do to customize it for sure. So you can either, replace one of these and then or you can, I think you can replace it, I think maybe with a router. I'm not sure if you can do another one with a router. Maybe you can route off and do like a fifth one to do Google Business. Yeah, so
Uh,
yep, good
and
questions. Any other questions, guys?
yeah, let me read Lauren's question here. I struggle to niche down by industry. I have one product and one upsell that I can mold for different industries. Hang on, I got to pull this out so I can read it. But it does create complexity for me. Thoughts, advice. Well, I've got my thoughts. What do you
Yeah,
think, Lauren?
yeah. You need to get clarity on it, right? And so this, like for me, the first thing that I would do is I would go to ChatGPT and I would just tell it that exact same thing,
Hmm.
that, I've got this one product and upsell. I'm struggling with my audience here, put your thoughts, give it your thoughts. And then ask, ask me any questions so that you guys can go through this collaboration. Again, you want to pretend like ChatGPT is like your business coach, right? And if you hired a business coach you said to the business coach, I've got this problem. I don't know how to do this thing, or I don't know what my audience is. Your business coach is not going to give you an answer. They're going to ask you a bunch of questions first.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of the role that ChatGPT is playing in this. So you have to get clarity, and you have to make sure that you are 100% clear on who your audience is, why would they buy your services? Okay, and then and then how to convert that into, what they would buy, what we've been talking about all day, the offer basically. So yeah, what say you, Lee? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, Lauren has a follow-up, and I completely understand this. Yeah, bounce between niches because of random referrals. So here's the thing. So, even if Lauren was to focus on one industry, I'm going to focus on one industry in one country. Okay. Oh, whatever. Right. Roofers in Canada, HVAC in the UK. I don't know if y'all call it HVAC, but heating and air, whatever. But so you do a really good job, right? And then the HVAC guy that you did the really good job is going to say, well, I got a buddy who's a plumber who's having these same issues in his business. Can you help him? Well, I mean, nobody really, referrals are beautiful things, and because you're pre-sold and you don't have to spend all of the time and money that it takes to actually make a sale. And so nobody wants to just say, no, I just help HVAC people. I mean, you could do it that way, Lauren. But what I would suggest is the following. Virtually all businesses need exactly the same thing. Exactly, cookie cutter. I mean, think about this. We're talking about here on this webinar, we're talking about mass posting of content on profiles on several social media platforms. There is not a business in the world that doesn't need that. And furthermore, other than the name of the business and tweaking the profile and stuff like that, I mean, to being aware of how AI creates the content, et cetera, other than those details, it's exactly the same. The mechanics are exactly the same.
That's true. Yep.
So, I get the referral thing because if you're doing a good job, you're going to get referrals, and those are really important. You want those. They're signals that you're doing a good job, and you can make a lot of money from referrals for, just as a reward for your effort. So what I would really do, Lauren, is I would have, you don't need to tell your clients this, but I would have a completely cookie cutter approach to every business that comes your way. Yeah, you can talk to the roofer about roofing, and you can talk to the dentist about braces, and you can talk to the accountant about, tax season and all that stuff. They all need the same thing done in the same way. And guys, this really stretches across virtually 99.9% of all internet marketing for local businesses is completely transferable from one business type to the next business type. The only time that it's not transferable, it's still transferable, but the only time you kind of have to be aware, and I'll tell you what you have to be aware of in a sec. The only time you have to be aware of some differences is if you're going from a B2C business, a consumer-oriented business, to a B2B business, a business-oriented business. And all you really need to be aware of for the business-oriented business and versus the consumer-oriented business is just how you speak, what you say, the tone of, the tone of the landing page, who are you talking to? Just be aware of the audience. Other than that, it's still exactly the same. These people are still on LinkedIn. These people are still on Facebook. They're still on X. They're still on Instagram. They still have solutions. They still have problems. And your whatever, I'm just using the social media thing we're talking about here. Your social media thing is the solution to the problem. And it is completely transferable with a little common sense. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good answer. And you can get that squared away with Chat GPT as well. You could say,
that
I
too.
work with a lot of referrals. I find that it's transferable. I want my messaging to be universal, you know, and
Mm.
it'll help you dial that in, because you still want a message to resonate with, the masses basically. So
Another quick thing, Lauren, let's say you got a client and you created some stuff for them, whatever it is, and you get a new client who's in a different industry. But like I said, you need to create the same kind of thing for them. Well, what I do, and then I do a lot of this, but what I do is I give ChatGPT examples of the stuff that I have already created for client or business A. And then I say, for business B, I need the same type of stuff, but oriented toward business B. So that's what we're going to talk about.
yeah,
You and I are going to sit here and we're going to hash out how to do that, what I need, et cetera, because that keeps you from starting at zero again. And it also keeps the AI focused. It's going to make things a lot faster. It's not a template, but it's kind of sort of templatey, right?
hmm
Uh-huh. So she says not hard to adapt to, but managing niche focused content gets too complex for me.
yeah, yeah,
That's why we're here, isn't it?
yeah. Well, you
To
want
get
to.
AI to do all this.
Yes, and
I
what you
mean,
want,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's it exactly. And you want it needs to work for you, so it needs to be able to make sense for you and work for you. So yeah, I think that's really important. All
cool.
right. Any other questions or comments or anything else?
I think we're great. We will, if y'all have something, drop it in. Now's the time. We will see you tomorrow. And don't forget the Zoom meeting next week. I have not put the link in the members area yet. It will be in there sometime tomorrow, either before, during, or after the webinar. But it's going to be basically at the end of next week sometime. Gloria and I just have to get together and look at our calendar.
Yeah.
I would really encourage y'all to jump into the pool, get
Yeah.
into this thing so that you know what to ask on the Zoom meeting next week. It turns out that Zoom meeting is a critical part of the teaching. If you can't make it, if you can't make the Zoom meeting, like I said earlier, send me your questions and we will definitely talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you
We
so
can cover
much.
it. Yep. Thanks a lot,
Yep.
guys. All right.
See y'all later.
All right.
Bye.
See ya. All right. Bye-bye.